The doctor is in. Hi, my name is Dr. Cynthia Elise Smith, and I am an anti racism, anti white supremacism educator and essayist, specializing in essays and lectures, discussions, and presentations with alternative views on race, race as color, race as character, racism, white supremacy, whiteness, blackness, and value. I offer deeper, more critical perspectives on these subjects, including the potential implications of wording in the US language lexicon that are not ordinarily considered racialized because they may be euphemized, dog whistled, or couched within usually benign contexts. Now, I am not here to change your mind, but to make you think critically about the subject matter I am about to present. As you think critically, you may begin to change your mind. Understand that this presentation, lecture, essay, and or discussion is designed to make you think, but it may not be comfortable. Now, before I begin, you will need three critical thinking skills. I call these the three C's of navigating through the language system of racism and white supremacy. Think of it because it is a language, it is how we communicate and are understood. You won't understand any more than if you were in a foreign country trying to communicate with people without understanding the language of the people. So, with that in mind, first up is comprehension. This is the most important because it is the essence of understanding what you are saying, being told, writing, or reading, or the ability of your mind to form and craft imagery and concepts from words. Second to comprehension is the ability to understand circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, idea, effect, consequence, or solution, and in terms through which it can be fully identified, comprehended, and assessed. This is context. Last but not least, connotation. It is the ability of the words to summon emotion or an idea or feeling that a word invokes in addition to its literal or primary meaning. Connotation is particularly important because it is the feeling of the words, the reaction associated with a word. It is the expressive part. It is that part of the words, sentences, and paragraphs from the thoughts that are created and create the drama that cause people to react happily, sadly, kindly, violently, or otherwise. Now, for purposes of this essay lecture, these are the definitions of race, race as color, race as character, racism, white supremacism, whiteness, and value I'll be using. Race. Any one of the groups of humans that humans are often divided into based on physical traits regarded as common among people of shared ancestry. Again, race is any one of the groups that humans are often divided into based on physical traits regarded as common among people of shared ancestry. Race as color. Color used to distinguish a race of people. Race as character. Character used to distinguish a race of people. Next up is racism. Now, racism is very, very important because, contrary to popular belief today in the 21st century, it is still the systematic subjugation within established institutions in the US through structurally designed discrimination and denial of opportunity, equity, equality, and justice built into every institution in the country to control the formerly enslaved and their descendants in perpetuity after the enslavement ended and the enslaved were emancipated. In perpetuity means forever. It is not simply prejudice or bias and the associated behaviors. Think of it this way. Can Black people despise white people? Absolutely. Can Black people hate white people because they're white? Oh, yes. But can Black people as a collective power suppress the vote, ban books by white authors simply on the basis of race, change history to sanitize it for the comfort of Black people, deny the very system was created in the first place in the face of overwhelming generational evidence that exists to this day? No, not in our entire history in this country. That is exclusively whiteness and white supremacism at work, using the mechanism of racism to support it, as that unbleached definition I've given you describes. White supremacism, the ideology that uses the color white and whiteness as a value and merit measurement. The merit measurement or metric where superiority and goodness align with the color white and the color black, and blackness are aligned as bad or inferior, each having been assigned generations ago to skin pigment. Whiteness, the theory that skin pigment or the assignment of the color white to imply skin color grants the individual with certain natural rights and privileges. The indoctrinated perception is of complete sovereignty over and above anything else on the planet Earth. And finally, value. The desirability of a thing, often in respect of some property, such as usefulness or exchangeability, worth, merit, or importance, or humanity. Value has the intrinsic association with the terms race, racist color, racist character, racism, and white supremacy, because value is the codifier for those terms, providing both context and connotation and leading to better comprehension of each. Today's essay is called Conglomeration of Entities, or United States of America, Which one will it be? Conglomeration of entities or United States of America? Which one will it be? What is a conglomerate or conglomeration? Oxford Dictionary defines conglomerates as a number of different things or parts that are put or grouped together to form a whole, but remain distinct entities. Typically, this is used for companies like Facebook and Amazon. For example, Facebook began at Harvard University in 2003 as FaceMash, an online service for students to judge the attractiveness of their fellow students. Jeff Bezos quit his job at an investment bank in 1994 to open a virtual bookstore. Working out of his garage with a handful of employees, sold its first book in 1995, and today is called Amazon, the everything store. The Cambridge Dictionary explains a conglomeration this way: a large group or mass of different things, all collected together in a messy or unusual way for purposes of this essay, however. The Cambridge definition provides one of the best explanations for a conglomeration in terms of how the United States of America as a country could be considered. What started out as one colony turned into 13 different things, all collected together in a rather messy way, as the Cambridge Dictionary describes, by theft of land or from the indigenous people, either through violence or coercion or both. Just like Cambridge, Oxford's dictionary offers one of the best explanations as well, since each state can be considered a different part or thing that is grouped together to form a whole, but still remains a distinct entity. Indeed, each state is its own entity with its own laws, its own regulations, covenants, government, and governing body, but it is the United States of America or the Union of States. These are certainly good examples of the United States as a conglomeration that I provided. However, neither explanation of conglomeration mentions united or union. Neither is represented as united, but rather distinct and sometimes unrelated. Within the context of a conglomeration, the question becomes, is the United States really united? Is it a union of states as described by Abraham Lincoln during and after the Civil War? Relying once again on Oxford, a union is an action or fact of joining or being joined, especially in a political context. Dictionary.com defines a union as one, the act of uniting two or more things, and two, the state of being united. As part of the framework of this essay, Dictionary.com presents the best explanation of the use of the word union since it incorporates the word united as part of its definition. From the Pilgrim Code Law in 1636 to ratification of the Articles of Confederation in 1781, all the way to the federal government creation through ratification of the Constitution of the United States in 1787, it is apparent that the federal government is the glue that joins these distinct entities, uniting them as one whole country. However, based on the deep divisions in this country in terms of race, the question must be asked again: is it in name only? Is the United States more a conglomerate or an actual union of states united as one body? Frankly, it would appear white supremacists think of this country as a conglomeration of states and certainly not a union of states. This thinking may have roots in the secession of the southern states, forming themselves as the Confederate States of America or the Confederacy in 1860-61 during the Civil War, ending when the Confederates lost the war and the enslaved were emancipated. As the individual states used black codes and subsequently the systemic use of racism against the black population, the federal government became the primary source of whatever form of democracy black people could receive, since the federal law took precedence over state law. Nevertheless, state lawmakers were perceived as secondary and not considered as important as the federal political landscape, allowing these same white supremacists through the years to quietly design new ways to oppress through the states. Today, black people are being suppressed from the franchise in many states. Still more are banning books by black authors. Some states are even changing the history curricula in schools to describe the enslavement as beneficial to the enslaved. The divide has widened and deepened to the extent individual states are more and more authoritarian and racist, looking like separate countries rather than a united union of states. What if these individual state entities decide they will not be governed by the federal union or the United States Constitution? Too many questions, not enough answers. And yet it looks like this nation is headed toward a conglomeration of individual authoritarian countries and democracies, depending on which side of the ideology on either side of the divide you might find yourself. The federal government appears to be losing much of its power to govern these individual distinct state entities. And it is feared that if states' rights continue to hold sway over federal rights, democracy itself may not survive. Many legislators whose side of the divide depends on generational animosity for Black people have acquired a great deal of ground over the years, which may be why they don't hold much credence in federal law, federal regulations, the Constitution, or the president. The white supremacists appear to be winning, even as the federal government and the media tries to assure the nation that it is still united, still a union. But if history is any indication of the future, which it generally is, then we will need to brace ourselves for what is likely to come. That brings me to the end of this essay lecture. Please remember to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my school, to my channel. Become a light bulb, become an illuminator. Be sure to hit that like button, follow, subscribe, share with anyone you think will benefit from an unbleached education. So, until the next time, I hope you got benefit out of it. I hope you understand the terms. I often tell people if you need to, watch it again. Remember, you can also read or listen aloud if you become a member of medium.com and find me and follow me and read a number of my essays. You can also reach me at www.calease, writer.com and read the essays for free. I will see you all, hopefully, in the virtual flesh again soon. Have a wonderful, safe rest of your holiday. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.